Welcome to the Roy Rogers tutorial channel. Thank you for watching. Anyways, you enjoyed the game. You want to know a little bit more about the game. And you want to be a part of the inner community. If you want to do that, you are so fortunate, because there's a program for this called the forums. And how you sign in, it's pretty straightforward. All you gotta do is just put in your username and password. Username, by the way, is going to be your name on forums, so keep that in mind. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because whenever you put in your username, I would have to say put in your in-game name, so that people can recognize you. And there you go. I'm going to sign in. So let's go ahead and go into the inner workings of the forums. Okay, so I'm going to give a little preface of each section, and then I'm going to go and talk about how to replace your picture from a dead fish to a more formal picture. There we go. From this picture into something like this picture, for an example. So let's go ahead and talk about each section. Announcements, and these are the only two sections I'm going to actually click and go into detail. So these are the only two sections I'm going to really click and go into. I would prefer that you guys would explore yourselves on some of this. But announcements, well, I think I might want to click the introductions, which is going to come in later in the video. Anyways, the announcements is where staff post important things. This is a staff listing this is where I get my headlines about who got promoted, who got demoted, who left the job, etc., etc. I check this almost every time I want to go into a broadcast on the Roy Rogers News Channel, make sure that I'm kind of updated on staff relations. So Pokemon also comes with update logs, which will tell you what the devs put in there, and what bug fixes they did, and what's so unique about this client compared to the client before December 23rd, for an example. So yeah, let's go into this section, and then this section, and this section, and this section. First off, general discussion. This is where the community puts in their feelings about an update or an issue in the game that the devs might address, so some things like that. But speaking about issues, if you yourself have a possible solution, you can post in the suggestions box, which I said I wasn't going to be going in here, but I just want to show you all examples here. So Yeah, you have to have at least 10 posts in your, like, for an example, this guy has 0 posts, so he's not allowed to, he has 0 active posts, which means he's not allowed to post in the suggestions. And someone like gym leader Gary, for an example, or, oops, wrong profile. I meant this guy. Yeah. And someone like Kazuku, for an example, has 325 active posts, which means he is allowed to post in the suggestions box. Okay. The trade corner. This is where people sell stuff, buy stuff, you know, all that jazz. And it's actually a much more formal format than trade chat itself in the game. So then here's the competitive alley. Competitive archives is where people help each other if they have a question, or if they want to know what team is going to help them in an official or something like that. Unofficial tournaments, that's where people put in something like the PSL, for an example. You know, I personally don't know much about PSL, so I'm not the person to ask about that. There's OU, UU, and NU. Some people are discussing Pokemon, like for instance the OU discussion on Chansey, which means that Chansey does have kind of a potential to be banned, but we don't know. Chansey's still in the game at the moment, he's still in the OU tier, but it's kind of in danger of being banned. So there we go. Okay, so the round table is where all the teams are. I'm not going to really go into that since we all know how the format's going to be. The attack learn set, that's a working in progress guide. Working in progress guides are guides that, you know, are, well, working in progress. They're not done, so, you know. But once they're done, either a staff member who specializes in the global tavern, in the guide tavern, would say, "Hey, I'm going to move this over here," or if your guide doesn't hit the surface, the guide is going to be deleted like every couple of months. Old working in progress guides are going to be deleted every month. So, yeah. Official events are different from unofficial tournaments. Unofficial tournaments, you know, are just for fun, and I mean, yeah, there are prizes, but you know, the official events, though, it'll be documented. For an example, the event archives list every single official event, all the way from September 10th of 2012. That's the first official event. So this, for an example, you know, has a lot of history. Or sorry, this section has a lot of history. And then we go all the way over here, which lists the current event that is over. And then the events that are planning to go on, staff members post in the tournament not, yeah, official tournament, or sorry, official events. Sorry about that. Pokemon official events. So there we go. And this one is waiting to be moved to the event archives. Or archives, sorry. Anyways, let's go introduction. Okay. Now this one I said I was going to click, so I'm going to click it. So basically, what this is someone giving a little. Now for first-time users, I prefer you guys to make an introduction about yourself. For instance, we know that his name is Elite Four Sandy. We also know that he loves Pokemon since he was a child. And this guy's a history buff. He wants to be a history teacher when he finishes college. And he is an astronomer because he loves space. And he loves the rocket launches and spacewalks. And he's also addicted to disco music and music from the 70s and 90s. So this guy's a history buff and an astronomer, a Pokemon fan, and a guy who likes listening to retro music. So there we go. That's what an introduction should entail. Character customizations. I'm going to mention in a later video, but that's if you want to adjust your game. But I'll get into that a little bit more in the character customization videos. Or sorry, in the client customization videos. Sorry about that. I'm getting confused with Dark Shade's project. Anyways, creative media is where people post their writings. So for any poetry fans, they would just put in poetry about Pokemon or Pokemon in there. They'd be like, oh well, I don't know. One day, I'm not really good at poetry. Jerry skipped through the flowers, and Sparky picked the flowers from the garden, and Blue Jim watered the plants. That's my best in poetry. I know it's terrible, isn't it? Anyways, let's go and move on. The audio videos, where people post YouTube videos, of either walkthroughs or like, hey, look at this, and this is an amazing video. And I used to use this section, but I don't really use it that much. And Creative Archive is where we're gonna click this, and this is kind of like a combination of all this stuff, like everything being thrown in here, like anyone who wants to lock up something or something like that. Well, here's the graveyard of Creative Archive. So some of it doesn't go into the trash, if anyone was curious. Okay, so the support knowledge base. This is if you have a problem with Pokemon the client. You can look at the archives to see what people usually write here. Like, for instance, fatal rendering error. People would usually copy and paste their programming details, and yeah, this kind of gives a little sample of what support request usually entails. And then the bug reports is like if you see like for instance, if there's a space that's not supposed to be there, or if, I don't know, let's just say the devs were, it's like New Year's and they were having a party and they did an update out of nowhere and there's like a glitch in Hoenn someplace. You could just be like, man, there's a bug report. Oh, thanks, and then the devs can patch that up. This is usually where the devs like to look. Just to let you know, Rachel Lucario is the head of the bug. I don't want to say her title. Because I want to stay official. I was gonna say head bug person, but like I said, I want to stick to the official title. So head bug moderator. So she's the person who deems a bug as something to patch or something not to patch. So yeah, there are some helpers that Rachel Lucario does look to as well, like Munya for an example. He's also a person that helps out with the bug he helps out Rachel Lucario with, hey, this bug might be something to look at. That's usually Munya's responsibility. Alright, so last but not least, player reports. Let's just say, before reporting, I would prefer that you would read this. And let's just say that a player goes on an makes an alternative account because you blocked them and they're continuing to harass you. Well, you're fortunate because you can make a forms report. And then you might want to include screenshots and etc., etc. And then the ban appeal is that if a GM, if you think that a GM, if you think a GM looked into something that might have been the reason why you did thing A or thing B, and then this is your place to look, which is the ban appeal. And then you might want to read all this. Like I said, I've never been banned before, so I never had to use this. And but yeah, you with the ban appeals, GMs and senior game masters. By the way, GM means game master. Senior game masters and game masters look at ban appeals, or yeah. And then this is the trash. This is the general trash of every single topic here. So let's go ahead and go into the profile itself before we really do any messaging or anything like that. Okay, so since you all have a brief introduction to each section, now you all know where to post your stuff, so that way staff don't so that staff members don't have to move your posts. So yeah, if you still don't understand, don't worry. I think the staff are willing to move the post. I hope my video helps in that department. Anyways, so here's my profile, and here's how I changed the picture. Now, is usually people like to use a picture that that represents them, and unless a dead fish represents yourself, I don't think that you want a dead fish either. So here's how you do it. So use the Gravatar account. By the way, I hardly use that email. And you create your own Gravatar account. Now here's the thing. The email address here, make sure that that particular email address you put here, because if you don't do that, then the picture's not going to upload on the forums. Put in a username, a password, and then look for a picture on your computer. You can always save your pictures from Google Images, but yeah. Save your picture, and then go over to the picture itself, click it. Now, here's the mistake that people do. Make sure that you rate your picture. There's a rating system at the bottom of the picture. So rate it G. Give it a G rating. If you don't give it a G rating, it's not going to show up on the forums. Plain and simple. So once you're done with that, go ahead and link your email address, and there you go. The email address that you used for your Gravatar. Now, let's look at someone's profile just as a test. I'm going to look at Billion TH's profile for an example, and you can send him a brief PM, copy and paste the thing that you want to PM him, or you can use the full editor, which will be just like how your comment or how your reply system is going to look if you're trying to comment on a forum section. So you type in your subject. Well, the subject part is not a part of the forum's reply. I'll show you the forum's reply in a minute. But you have to have a title in order to send a PM. This is for specific players. You can also invite other people. Like, for instance, I can invite Jerry Zoo for an example. I can invite X Sparky, and you all understand how this works. So there you go, and that'll mean that everybody in the other recipients is going to receive that personal message. Okay, so let's look at the reply box. For instance, the support. I'm just going to make battle points tradable for an example. Now, you'll see this. You'll see your picture reply to topic. As you can see, there's no title here because there's already a title. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to play around with these features, because I know that some people were curious about how some of these features work. And you can play around with them yourself if you want, but some people want me to explain them to. So I'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in a test word for an example. There we go. So I'm going to bold Blue Jim's name. Okay, and I unbold it by highlighting it again and clicking unbold. Now I can choose the font, just like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. I can choose the size 36, make it bold, italize that, underline it, streak it out, and I can also make it a bullet point. Like for instance, I can do Blue Jim, Jerry Zoo, X Sparky. This is just a test. So we're going to test out all the features, and then if you want to change the bullets to numbers, just highlight that and go ahead and change it. It's straightforward over here. Now, if I want a word to show, or if I want a word to guide me someplace, like if I want the word Jerry Zoo to guide me to Bulbapedia, for an example, I'm gonna take the link here. I'm going to paste it, and there we go. Now, if I want to, let's say, grab a picture of something, I would just look, copy image, and paste it. If it doesn't paste, then do the copy image address, and it should work for you. Now, you can also do the fancy stuff, like you can indent, you can do that again. You can go ahead and push it this way, push it that way. This is the center, right? You all understand these features. Most of these are Microsoft Word features or PowerPoint. Now these are also used commonly. So if I wanted to color this, I would highlight it, and then I would grab a color. Now if this color is not good enough for me, there is a color wheel I can choose. So let's say I want a more bluish color, since his name is Blue Jim indeed. So I need to give him a bit of blue color, just like a blue aquatic color. Anyways, and then I like to be polite and do a little smiley face with people who want to be welcome to the community. So I can grab a smiley face if I want after my comment, or I can grab the ninja. Now, these features are hardly ever used. Hardly. These features are not really used that much. I mean, I personally don't use them, but that's just me. And then paste is pretty straightforward. I mean, I can just do the paste here. So it's just like Word, almost like Word, not exactly like Microsoft Word. And then here is a response of mine for an example. And let's go into the signature part. So we're gonna go. Well, actually, hang on. Before we get to the signature, I want to go to the settings. So let's go into the settings. I can edit my profile if I do the About Me. This is if I want to remove something, if I see something wrong with my profile, I can edit it right here. So there we go. And profile customization. There's the computer, the image. This is the current background. If you look at my profile to the left, you will see that same computer. this is the profile background. Anyways, let's go back. So the signature is going to be right here, and then you have to save changes. You have to do that. I can't emphasize that any further. But here's my current signature, and this is what people usually look at, and they look at my comment that they're like, oh, well, this guy's a YouTube channel. Oh, great! I'll go ahead and click on it. So, you know, I use my signature for advertisement purposes, but other people might use it to show a little bit more about themselves. Like, for instance, like if someone's a competitive person, they'll show like some some signature saying, I won this tournament, or look at me, I won this. So, you know, the signature gives you a little spot to say a little bit about yourself. You can only upload one picture. So you can go to the ignore list, and you can type in the names of people you're ignoring. To be quite honest, I don't have anyone that I'm ignoring. And this is notification list. You want to see what will be noticed via email or via up here. This is the notifications. And the envelope is all the personal messages you made, or personal messages that were sent to you. And this is like kind of like a log version of all the notifications. So there we go. Another little detail I want to say here is that, you know, if a person has a name that's colored, they're a staff member. If a person has a standard blue color, then they are just members. So Rip Hank, for an example, is a moderator. She's a community manager, and she's purple. K9, you know, has the standard color, which means he's a member. Now Rip Hank, she's a community manager, and next. The next color is a green color, which means that a person is a global moderator. And if the person is a light blue, that means that they are a junior game master. If they are a blue, like a darker blue than this type of blue, then that means, well, not really a darker. I mean, it's like a standard blue. It means that they are game masters. If a person has an orange color, that means they are a senior game master. And if the person has a red color, that means the person is either an administrator or a developer. One last thing. Members. Now, you can do a lot of narrowing. If you're like, man, I don't know who that guy is, but I know that he has a Skype account. I know his Skype account, but I can't pin his profile. You can type in the Skype account. If you're like, man, I know the person's name, but I don't know about all this other stuff. Well then, like, so Jerry Zoo, for an example, I can track him, and here he is. And you know, and profile feed is like what people say what's on their minds. If you have a profile, you'll probably have a profile feed too. You'll have that section, and likes, I think, are posts that the people liked, the posts that he made. And then here's the friends list. That means, you know, and this could be exposed or unexposed. And, you know, some people like to keep their friends private. And then topics, or error, this and that, blah, all that. Let me know if you need something from me. So this is like, this is for the topics. All right. And then you can add the person as a friend, which will have a green kind of plus sign here with the little guy here, or you can remove the friend, which, you know, is kind of heartbreaking to do, but you know, yeah, which will show this red minus button that you'll see here. And last but not least, when you make a forms reply or comment, make sure that you proofread it. There are some people who make a lot of grammatical mistakes. I mean, it's natural, it's human nature. People make spelling errors or something like that. And when you make your comment, since forms is a fancier setting than Pokemon the game, then that means that you as a player have to respond in a formal manner. So the forms is a fancier version of the game itself. In the next tutorial, we're gonna go for TeamSpeak, and after TeamSpeak, we might do the client customization, which will be right here. The topic I purposely did not discuss because I'm planning to discuss that in my client customization video. Anyways, this is the Roy Rogers tutorial channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers tutorial channel, signing off.